Welcome to the Fail Forward podcast. The purpose of this podcast is change the negative stigma around failure into a positive. Failure is only a negative if we do not learn from it and we give up. Welcome back to the Fail Forward podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I'm very passionate about, and that is mindset, and getting yourself into the right mindset every day to succeed in life is so important. And I've done lots of episodes on this in the past, but I'm going to try and do a deeper dive on mindset today. So the things I'm going to cover today with mindset are manifestation and goal setting, growth mindset, environment, and self-care, because putting all four of these together will help you create the best possible mindset. And the reason why we want to have the best mindset is because it will help us turn up every day. Like, business is hard. There's lots of gurus out there that say business can be easy if you do X, Y, Z and buy this and buy that. But the long and short of it is business is difficult. It's not for everyone. It takes a lot of resilience. It takes a lot of getting out your comfort zone. It takes a lot of discipline, consistency, turning up every day, and breaking through some big mindset barriers, different levels that you've got to go up. You've got to take some risks, and you've really got to be outside your comfort zone. And some days you're going to feel like you've been beaten up left, right, and centre. That, I've had days where staff haven't turned up, they've kicked off, we've had a VAT bill that we didn't know was coming in, or a HMRC bill, or then a van breaks down, and then this happens, and then you've got to pick your kid up from school because they're not very well, and suddenly the day stacks up and you just feel like everything's against you. Because when business is good, it's simple and you can have a good mindset, but the people that really make the success are the people that turn up every day, even though when the business is challenging and difficult and stressful and people not paying you. So working on your mindset on a daily basis is going to give you the best opportunity to be able to turn up on the days when the shit is hitting the fan and things aren't going so well. Because if you don't turn up on those days, they're the days that are going to compound and end up in putting your business into a potential negative place. And that's why it's so important to work on your mindset on a daily basis. Every single day you need to be working on your mindset. So we've got some tips for you today to be able to help you through that. So one of the things I say is goal setting is so important. Pre me going down this self-development rabbit hole with the business failing and all that kind of stuff, is one thing I was very good at was setting goals. Even from a very young age, I had notes on my phone from every time me and Sarah would go on a holiday, and I'd write the goals for the next 12 months. And the magical thing with goals is that you're already setting the intention of what you want to do. And subconsciously, you are already putting in things in place. And quite often, even when I didn't do the self-development stuff, I wasn't, didn't have a mentor or a coach, we would hit quite a few of our goals because we're putting it out there and we're working towards them. So the first thing I can say is goal setting. Goal setting is so important. And what the other thing that I'd started learning with goal setting is manifestation. Now, manifestation is something, it's a bit woohoo. It's a kind of, you hear a lot of people saying you've got to think it to believe it, you've got to dream it, you've got to see yourself driving your dream car in your dream home, and suddenly all this stuff will start happening. Well, I'm not a believer of that, because you still need action. But I think you've got to start believing, like Henry Ford, we've talked about before, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I'll say that probably saying 1,000,000 times in the future. I say it to myself every single day, because a lot of people say, you can't run multiple businesses, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I can. And the first thing you've got to be doing is thinking that you can do it. So when I think about manifestation, I'm picturing myself doing things, but you still need action. Because I always say dreams without action is procrastination. Dreams without action is procrastination. So if you manifest, have all your dreams, but you're not going to put action in, you're still not going to get there. You're still going to be sat in your pajamas on your sofa dreaming of manifesting everything you need. So you need to have action along with that. And then action without goals leads to burnout. And what I mean by that, because if you're just taking lots of action and you've got no goals and you don't know where you're going, you've not got your dream board of everywhere you're going, you are going to burn out, because every day you're going to be taking loads and loads of action, but you're not going to know where you're going. And the wrong action, the wrong things on a daily basis could just mean that you're working in your business and you've got a really busy job. You're doing 80 hours a week, you're still earning a few grand a month, and actually you are working below minimum wage without even realizing it. So just remember this. Dreams without action is procrastination. You've got to put the action in place. Dream it, believe it, manifestate it, but put the action in place. And then action without goals is burnout. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at different ways to help improve your mindset. So the first one, as we talked about, is goal setting and manifestation. A couple of tips you can do with the manifestation is something I've done is I've created a dream board. It's on my desktop on my computer. I've got in the middle of it my family, because that's the most important thing to me, and then I've got material things around it that I want, or experiences, like we've got whale watching on there. We want to go whale watching. We've got Route 66. We've got our dream home. I've got my dream car. My dream car is a Porsche 911 GT3 in red with carbon fiber bonnet. That's on there. You know, I've got all these things on there. And what that really helps me with is when I see that dream board, when I'm having a really crap day, when the shit's hitting the fan, I've got businesses beating me left, right and center. I feel like I've done 12 rounds with Tyson, probably only do about 30 seconds with Tyson, but that's how I feel. 12 rounds with Tyson. Then I look at my dream board and go, yes, that's what I'm aiming towards. That's what is taking me on this journey, and that's where I'm going towards. And it just helps give you a bit of morale. So making sure that you have a dream board and making sure that you have clearly defined written goals out of where you want to be in the next 5 years and where you want to be in the next year. Because as you've heard me say before, you wouldn't just drive to a new location that you didn't know where without a TomTom. You're going to get lost. And it's very easy to get lost in business without actually knowing where you're going. So the first thing to do is start writing some goals and start having a think about what you want to do and where you want to be. And I can almost guarantee just that one action, you will start seeing the goals happening and you'll start working towards them. The next thing is improving your environment. So you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend most time with. I'll say that again, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend most time with. So if you're going to, and don't get me wrong, I love Wetherspoons, like beer and a burger, value, brilliant, like that works, it ticks boxes. But if you're stood in Wetherspoons at the bar every single day with all the grumpy old men, what do you think is going to happen to your mind? You're going to be talking about how crap the country is, how crap the government is, how like you're going to be reeling everything off from the tabloid papers, and you're probably going to have a pretty poor mindset. Flip it on its head. If you go and spend your time with really positive, motivational people, with people who have created success or on the way to success, you're going to absorb that in. You're going to absorb that in, and that's going to help you get to where you want to get to, and it's going to help with your environment and your mindset. So it's such a true saying, you are the sum of 5 people you spend most time with. Slight caveat, you spend a lot of time with your family and friends, and they might not be all positive, motivational people. I am definitely not telling you to dump your friends and family, because they are more important than ever, especially when you're running a business, when you're doing day-to-day life. You need the connection and support from friends, and you need the love, care from your family. So don't dump your family, but just start thinking about where you hang out. Who do you speak to on a daily basis? So I've got a few tips of things you can do. The first thing is business networking. Business networking changed my life. We were actually just chatting before we came in the studio with Andy, saying that I probably wouldn't be sat here if I hadn't started business networking. After I lost it all, I was in a position where I was beaten up. My confidence was an all-time low. I was coming out of my drug addiction. My confidence was low. I had anxiety. I didn't have any confidence in myself. Like I had my ego was non-existent, because I'd just been so flattened by losing everything, that the first time I ever went to a networking place, it was at the Ageas Bowl in Southampton. I think there was about 100 people in the hotel part of the Ageas Bowl. And I went up in the lift, I was sweating, I was trembling. And just before I got out of the lift and I walked across the hallway, and there was the door open to where 100 business people were networking, and to the right of that was a toilet, and I could hear everyone networking, and I was so anxious that I just went straight to the toilet, sat in the toilet for 5 minutes, couldn't build up the courage, walked straight out the toilet, straight back down to the foyer and out of my car and drove off, because I just couldn't do it, which sounds mental now. That right now I'm going to go, and in this month I'm going to go and speak in front of thousands of people on stages, and thousands of people listening to this podcast. And it's like what I said in the previous episode, sometimes the things that you think you can't do, you can, and it's amazing when you lean into it. But my point is that I then went to another business networking, which was BNI, Southampton, New Forest Group. So shout out to if anyone from New Forest BNI is listening. That group changed my life for many reasons. And one of the things is I walked in, I instantly felt welcomed. They had a welcome committee, which I now know, and they welcomed the new members. I then got on a weekly basis to stand up and do my 60-second elevator pitch, which was really nice by the end of it, crisp, clear. I'm Henry Guyburn. This is what I do, and this is the people I'm looking for. And it really gave me the confidence to start speaking to people. But not only that is you're then improving your environment because you're around other business people. Everyone that goes business networking is there because they want to achieve success. They want to build their businesses. They want to get more leads, and they want to be part of a network. And that really helps with your environment. So if you're not doing it already, try business networking. There are so many. There's BNI. Only is the number one for me. Kelly and James West do an amazing job with Only networking. So if you haven't checked it out, go and check out Only. But there's so many networking out there. Jamie Stewart, he's got an amazing networking, online networking. Go and check Jamie Stewart out. I'm talking at his event in a couple of weeks. But go and check out as much business networking as you can because it will help improve your environment. The other thing is competi mates. Like if you're in business, finding out about who's around you and creating relationships with your competi mates, because people see sometimes competitors as bad people, but I see competitors as competition. So it makes me want to be better, but also collaboration will take you a lot further than competition. So knowing your competi mates is a really key tip because the amazing thing is when you have friends in business, you can help each other out. I've got 3 or 4 tree surgery businesses around me who we all help each other out. We borrow chippers and kit off each other. They help us out on jobs. And even when things were going wrong in the business, I had competi mates who were giving us work, which was just such a great thing to have. So competi mates are a good place. Co-working offices. So I found co-working offices through as we were coming out of COVID. But what I was doing before that is I was going to sit in a Costa Coffee and trying to work with kids screaming and people, lots of busy people chatting and loads of stuff going on. Then we found the beautiful thing of co-working offices where you are a group of businesses all sharing an office, having chats around the coffee machine and really improving your environment. And then the other things are like health clubs, golf clubs, flying and yacht clubs, all places where you're doing a positive thing like a sport, which is uplifting in itself. So there's a health gain to it, but also you get to meet some amazing people. And all of this, it helps your mindset. But just think when you're in these environments, how much more opportunities there are as well to have business relationships, potential joint venture partners, potential opportunities. There's so many benefits to improving your environment. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, which helps with mindset, is self-care. When you start to look after yourself, and you've heard me bang on about this so many times, but I'm going to still keep banging the same drum. When you look after yourself physically, the amazing thing that comes with it is how you feel mentally. Like I've been running now consistently for 1.5 years. One of the amazing things that happened is I'm losing weight. But on top of that, if I don't run, I notice a definite dip in my resilience and my mental health. And running might not be for you. It might be some other sort of self-care, some other sort of exercise. But one of the biggest things I'd say is try and start every day with some exercise. It will go a long way to your resilience and your mental health every day. It helps reduce stress. It increases energy and productivity. It enhances creativity, it improves decision making, and also as a leader it sets a really positive example. So there's so many benefits, and the different ways that you can do self-care is like one I've said about exercise. The other is meditation, like doing mindful meditation. Mindful meditation actually was one of the key factors in me recovering from a drug addiction, but also helps. It's like a reset button. Lying on your bed for 10 minutes listening to a mindful meditation can really help benefit your mind, clear your mind. I don't actually do it enough. My mind resists it like it did with exercise, and I've managed to now exercise, but not quite mindful meditation. But try it out. Even if you sat there thinking now, I wouldn't do that, it's not for me, it's a bit woohoo. Lean into it. Put the ego to one side. See what happens. Try mindful meditation. Having hobbies, doing things like my kids are getting into Lego, and wow, I didn't realize how much Lego's for an adult as well. Like when you put some Lego together, you are in a present state of mind. So finding hobbies that can pull you back into a present state where you're not looking at your phone, you're not looking at your emails, you're not stressing because something's not happened at work. Trying to find some really good good hobbies that can take you away from that. Paddleboarding, cycling, exercise-based hobbies are really, really good. Cold water therapy, you've heard me bang on it before, but having a freezing cold shower every day or going into an ice bath, it is proven that it releases endorphins. I actually saw a video on TikTok again the other day about how if you have a beer, it will release endorphins for about half hour afterwards. If you have a line of Coke, it will release endorphins for about 40 minutes afterwards, but then it drops. Both of them drop, and then you crave more, and that's where the addiction to these kind of things come in. But it's a mental addiction, not a physical addiction. But with cold water therapy, if you have a ice bath right now, your endorphins will keep rising for 3 hours afterwards. So when you have an ice bath, it makes you feel on top of the world. Sarah, my wife, gets really annoyed with me because I go out really early, go for a run, have an ice bath or a freezing cold shower and do some reading. She'll come down just woken up and I'll be buzzing around the room like, hey Sarah, how are you doing? And she'll be like, Henry, I've just got up, like leave me alone. But it just shows you how it sets the tone for the day. When you start off and you've done all this before everyone else has got up and you're buzzing, you can literally hit the ground running and you can smash out so much work that you might not need to work 8 hours in a day. You can do 3 or 4 hours. You can do all your calls, get everything done, and you're going to be in a better place to make decisions and lead your business. Self-development really helps, like reading books. For me, it really helps. One, be in the present moment, but two, I feel like I'm growing. And the more you feel like you're growing, and as you go up, new level, new devil, as Rob Moore always says, like as your businesses grow, you're going to have to evolve. And one of the ways you evolve is through self-development. And the last one is going on holidays. Going on holidays really helps your creative mind because you can see life from a faraway perspective and really start working on what problems you've got and how you can solve them, and having regular breaks. This year I almost burnt out because we did 7 months straight without a proper holiday. We had a few weekends away and did a few nice things, but we didn't have a proper holiday. And next year I said to Sarah, we need to have a holiday every 3 months because we can go hard at work. I've got a really great work ethic, but having a break really does reset everything. So making sure you have regular holidays. All in all, the point of all of this is whatever you take from this episode, and as I said before, if it's things you wouldn't normally do, lean into it, put the ego to one side. But the whole point is to be working on having a world-class mindset so that you can, when you're having those difficult days, when you're having great days, you just think you're going to be peaking and getting so much done. But when you have difficult days, that you keep turning up. The people that last in business are the people who are disciplined, consistent, and turn up on a daily basis and create results and have really great decision making. So thanks all for listening. That's it from Fail Forward. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and comment. Thanks all.